you ever used a planning consultant for your property projects? If not, watch this video and I'll share with you exactly why you should use one every single time. A planning consultant is somebody who understands the process of planning. They're very good at what they do and they work and complement your architect. Unfortunately, in my experience, most people who apply for planning end up using an architect. Now, some architects are really good and they understand planning too. Most of them are not planning consultants, hence why you've got planning consultants. They are good at drawings and understanding architecture, but they aren't planning consultants. So they'll file your planning application and sometimes they might miss some things simply because they don't understand the planning policy as well as the planning consultant. So as an example, if you have an accountant, you go to an accountant, he or she, generally speaking, won't be a tax advisor. If you want tax advice, some accountants are good at tax advice, but if you want tax advice, especially on complicated stuff, usually the accountant will have a tax advisor working for them, or they'll go outside, outsource someone to come and work with them, but some of them may be tax consultants. Same with planning. Some architects are good at it, most of them know it but aren't that good, and I've had loads of examples and instances where we've used a planning consultant and got planning through where previously the applicant struggled or the application was refused. And so it's really important that if you're applying for planning, I would suggest use a planning consultant, because at the start they'll show you what's possible, they'll also work with the architect, they'll then liaise with the local authority, and they'll help you get planning through as long as you follow their advice. The first benefit of using a planning consultant is it's going to save you time. They'll assess the project for you, they'll talk you through what's possible, they'll help you with the design, and then they'll liaise with the council. Some of them have actually worked for local authorities, some of them haven't, but they'll have a good relationship, especially if you're using somebody local in that particular area, and they'll get the planning through for you quicker than you would, just because they'll be able to answer the questions, objections and concerns of the planning department and the planning officer. Number two, it can potentially save you money, because if you use a planning consultant, they'll work with your architect and the first set of drawings should hopefully be good enough to get planning. And of course, if you do a pre-app, the planning consultant can speak to the council. So a pre-app basically is an application you do before you apply for planning, and the council give you a view whether your planning would be acceptable to them or not. So they'll work with the architect, get the drawings done. It's going to save you revising drawings 2, 3, 4 times, and that happens sometimes. So you want to avoid all those costs and get it right the first time round. Third one, planning consultants know planning policy. So they'll advise you on exactly what's possible. They'll then fight that case, argue the case, defend it for you with the council, and sometimes officers at the council will have a different view, and that's fine, because planning to some extent is objective, but at points it can be subjective based on opinion. So your planning consultant will work with you and the planning officer and try and get things through for you which you may not know of or you may not have gathered or established, so it can get you a much better outcome. 4, if your case doesn't go through and you've just used an architect, for example, you can appeal it, and if you appeal it, use a planning consultant. I can tell you they're worth their weight in gold, because they will review the case for you, tell you if it has legs and if it's worth appealing, and if they think it's not worth appealing, they'll help you with a fresh new application and then you'll get it through. Let me give you an example. I had a site, 11.8 acres, applied for planning for 6 5-bedroom houses with triple garages, didn't go through. Did a second plan, didn't go through. Third time round, I got a planning consultant to come in and they got it through for me. It took about 4 months, but it went through, and I can tell you, people around me were saying, you cannot get planning on that particular site. Well, guess what? We got it through. So ever since then, I've always been using a planning consultant, and it's been really good value for money.